You've got Cruz, obviously. He lost lost his belt to Garbrandt, and then he lost his next match, his title fight against Cejudo. And the reality is that Dominic isn't going to fight for a belt in his next fight. It's as simple as that. He probably feels like he deserves it, but he has to fight a contender. Frankie Edgar is a legendary guy. Dominic Cruz is a legendary guy. They've both been at the top of the food chain in terms of mixed martial arts. Cruz, I wouldn't have thought he's going to fight for much longer. We know Frankie is at the end of his career, so to speak. And I'd love to see that matchup. I think stylistically, it's a very, very interesting matchup. We know that Cruz utilizes a lot of movement. We know Frankie's no slouch in the movement department, and he's just as tough as they f***ing come. And yeah, I think that before those guys retire, I would love to see that matchup.
Man, I'll tell you what, I'm always impressed with the guys that have been around for 20 years that are, getting a little older when they can get a win like that. Look, he was, it was just experience versus inexperience to me. He was relaxed, even when he was shelling up, I don't think he was ever in any danger. And man, hats off to Overeem, man. He found like a second wind, and he's definitely got the power and the technical skills to get anybody out of there at any given point in time. And I thought it was a great fight for Overeem.
And he's still a nasty prick, right? He's still got that fighter in him, right? I mean,
isn't that
he
crazy?
Was mean at the end of that.
Oh, let me tell you, those elbows were no joke. No joke. He generated a lot of power with those.
Technically, he never lost ever. I mean, that whole Matt Hamill. Matt Hamill. I got confused with him and Mark Hamill.
Matt Hamill.
So with the dumb Star Wars guy, but with the fucking downward elbows and everything, it's all bullshit. So he's undefeated. I say whoever has the belt, whether it's Francis, Stipe, whatever, Jon Jones should get an immediate title shot because the dude did enough. What the hell? What the hell? What is he going to prove himself that he's a good fighter at heavyweight? Guy's one of the best ever.
I 100% agree. We see other contenders move around divisions and they get their immediate title shot.
Jose Aldo.
Conor McGregor was there as you cannot deny that he hasn't earned it in the octagon.
You go back to what works, but also you got to understand that he's gotten a lot better since the last fight. So you also got to incorporate new things. I mean, that's the way the game is. Because honestly, if you take time off in this sport, I mean, people evolve so fast and they get so much better that it'll leave you behind. So yeah, you take a little bit from the last fight. I think you don't dwell on it because that person's gotten way better and they're working on things that you did well against them. So it's just it's I think do a lot more different things. Maybe change it up. Other things you were doing, like for a takedown, maybe different setup to get it there, or maybe this time I finish him with a rear naked instead of just laying on top of him. Everyone thinks I did. So.
Obviously, the UFC has plans, right? They know that this guy, if he gets by that guy, is going to fight that guy for the top dogs, right? But it's very rare that they actually tell us who's next before the upcoming fight, right? Like, it's very rare that they double book someone like this. How do you feel about it's one thing for him to accept these fights, but it's another for the promotion to do it as well. How do you feel about them doing it and making it public?
Hey, I just get a chance to spoil their plans. You know what I mean? I'm going to take all his thunder and I'm going to run with it. So whatever happens on the 19th, people are going to know my name a lot better from now on. I'm going to inflict pain because even if I walk out of that cage and somehow, let's say I, lose a controversial decision or something, I promise you one thing, Khamzat is not going to be physically able to fight come October. As soon as he steps out of that cage, he's going to need at least 6 months to recover from what I'm going to do to him.
It is interesting that they're putting him in there against two jiu-jitsu guys, two guys who are very comfortable off their back. That's somewhat surprising, right?
Yeah, which also makes me think that I'm kind of the warm-up, so to speak, for Damian Maia, which is, it's hard to say it's insulting because it's Damian Maia, right? Like, he's one of the best jiu-jitsu fighters ever, but, you know, I'm going to take it that way because I'm me, and I think I can be just as good, if not better.
What do you think about DC retiring? Are you trying to be the last man standing of the OGs of AKA now? Is that what it is? Is that why you're coming back, bro?
DC, every time from the golf course to show me his shitty ass swing.
Did you see that? I didn't say it was shitty, bro. I didn't say it was shitty, but it was funny. I love watching him swing a golf club. I can't even talk.
It's the best. He had his first ever birdie putt yesterday. He FaceTimed me, and then like he was golfing with Michael Lazy, and he made it. Lazy had to go jump in this dirty ass creek. Missed it by about this much. It's no birdie for
But he's
DC,
having fun, man. He's having fun. And you think he's coming back like you? Or, I mean, he can't. He's done. I think he's done his time.
I think it might be the end of it for DC. You know, I mean, he's got the whole family. He's got another one on the way. He got his hands full with all the commentary, and we've got some cool stuff planned. I know we're talking about going to Dubai together and bring back the old times a little bit. Have a little ebony and ivory trip, you know.
Oh. Jesus, dude.
Is there a part of you that feels like I'll only believe that this fight is going to happen the moment we're both in the cage staring at each other? Or do you feel like it's actually real at this point?
No, it's real. He's scared. He isn't talking. Like think about this. This is one of the highest anticipated fights. It was one of the last fights to be announced. You see all these other fights that aren't even main events that were announced. There's been really hardly any media behind the fight, any promotion. You got two guys that can't stand each other, and we have heard nothing about it. So what I'm doing is I'm taking it in stride. I'm taking it to focus, to lock in on a fight, locking on a training, and not to have to deal with all the BS. So it's a blessing in disguise for me, but he's very quiet right now. You know, he's not talking as much as he normally is. And if he is, I'm not listening to it. I haven't heard it, but he's focusing in training because now he remember what it's like to be in there with me. He remember what it's like to train with me. And you can only fake the media out so much. Now he has to train. He's in a different camp, under different circumstances, and he got to live up to all the stuff he's been talking. So now he's in there training hard, and I like that because I'm in there training hard.
What, if anything, have you heard about this new camp? Because this is the big story going in for him. He left ATT. He's now part of his own team.
He got kicked out of ATT.
Okay,
He didn't leave anywhere. He got kicked out.
Do you know who's around him? Do you know where he's training?
I mean, he's training at MMA Masters, from what I understand, and that's a camp that's always been a competitor of ATT, so they probably jumped up on the opportunity. They used to have Amanda Nunes before she brightened up and jumped to ATT. And, they've always want to show that they're equals to ATT, so they're going to try to train them and have them prepared, but it could be overkill sometimes. Sometimes you overdo it and you come in there dinged up, you come in there banged up a little bit. And I don't know their regimen. It's a good camp, but at the end of the day, he's always been a selfish. He always do what he wanted to do anyway. He's always been about him. So no matter where he goes, it's going to kind of be the same thing. He's going to kind of fight the same way. Like, he's never shown us anything different. You know what I mean? It's been the same fighter every time, and it's been enough to put him in position so we can square off.
Pump the brakes, pump the brakes. Everybody wants to jump around these days. We got to start pumping the brakes around here.